Good day, students. I am by name Masun Tudil. I will be taking you in agricultural science. Our topic for today is wheat and wheat control. Let's look at the definition of a wheat. Wheat is any plant that grows in a place where it is not expected to grow. Any plant that is growing where it is not expected to grow, that plant is considered as a wheat. Take for instance in a rice farm, and you discover that maize is growing in a rice farm, while you as the farmer, you did not need maize in that farm. Definitely that maize is considered as a wheat. Let's look at the characteristics of a wheat. Let's look at the characteristics and growth habit of wheat. Production of large quantity of wheat seed. So wheat produces very large quantity of seed. That is why we discover that if you have just one seed, within a year or two, you discover that because of the large production of the seed of that wheat, the wheat will just dominate the farm. Then we have some wheat reproduced by seed. Yes, some wheat, their method of propagation is by seed, while some wheat reproduced by vegetative propagation. Some wheat use their vegetative propagation method. They use the suckers, they use stem, they use the rest. That's their method of propagation. So some wheat growth of large leaves within a short period of time. So wheat grows very large leaves within a short period of time. That is why I discovered that within short period, the leaves will now just cover the whole farm within short period. Most wheat are wind pollinated. They are wind pollinated. They are pollinated by wind, unlike the other plants that they are pollinated by insects. That is why the spread is always high. Now let's look at the effects or economic importance of wheat. Wheat compete with crops for space. Wheat compete with crops for sunlight. Without sunlight there will be no photosynthesis. The same thing with the wheat. That is why they compete with our crops for sunlight. Wheat also compete with crops for nutrient. The nutrient that is meant for crops, it will be used up by the wheat. Wheat harbors crop pests and diseases. Some wheat harbors pests. That is why sometimes the pests will now hide under the wheat and carry out their attack on our crops. Wheat compete with crops for soil moisture. That is why sometimes we discover that once if there is drought, which is a shortage of rainfall within short period of time, the soil moisture that is supposed to be meant for the crops to use, the wheat will now use it. That's why sometimes you see the crops will start dry while the wheat will be growing well. The sixth one is losses in quality of crops. Yes, there is losses. That's another economic importance. Losses in quality of crops. Because of the wheat, the quality of the crops is reduced. Losses in income of the farmers. Since the quality is reduced, once the crop or the farm produce is taken to the market, the price will not be high. So it also affects the market value of the crops. Therefore, the income of the farmer is also reduced. Some wheat are toxic to man and farm animals. Some wheat are very, very poisonous. It affects both man and animals. Now let's look at the benefits of wheat to farmers. What are the benefits? Some wheat are useful as food for human consumption. Some human beings eat some. There are leaves that we do eat them. Example like the water leaf. Human beings eat water leaf. Some wheat serve as feed for livestock. Yes, we feed our farm animals with most of this wheat, grasses and the grasses, legumes and the rest. We feed our farm animals with like the centro, the Bahama grass, the rest. We feed our animals with those wheat. Certain wheat have medicinal properties. Yes, wheat also have what? Medicinal values. There are wheat that we use them as herbs. Okay, we use those wheat to cure some certain diseases in human beings and animals. Wheat helps to check erosion. Yes, it reduces what? The erosion in an area. Some wheat are used for roofing, making mat and basket. Yes, you agree with me that in some villages, they still use wheat as roofing materials, especially for the round huts and the rest. They use wheat for roofing as roofing materials. Therefore, like the northern gamba, we use them to roof our houses. Making mats. Some people make mats with wheat and basket. The last benefit. Some wheat are used for making compost. Yes, our compost manure, we make use of wheat to make the compost manure. These are the benefits. Let's look at the method of dispersal. How does this wheat move from one place to the other of this wheat seed? Most seeds and fruits of wheat are generally dispersed by wind and animals. Let's look at the mode of dispersal of the wheat. How do they move? Dispersal of wheat by animals. Yes, animals also help in carrying the wheat seed from one place to the other. Another one is dispersal of wheat by wind. Wind also carries the wheat seed from one place to the other. We also have dispersal of wheat seed by water, especially in the riverine area. Yes, water carries wheat seed from one place to the other. Another method of dispersal is dispersal of wheat seed by explosive mechanism. Yes, once if there is explosion, it moves the wheat from one place to the other. These are some of the common wheat found on our farms. The common wheat. We are going to I listed just few, but we are going to discuss them. Let's look at them and their botanical names. Number one on the list is the Guinea grass. We have the Panicum maximum. The botanical name of the Guinea grass is called Panicum maximum. We have the Bahama grass, which is called Cynodon dactylon. It's called Cynodon dactylon. We have spear grass, which is called Imperator cylindrica. Imperator cylindrica. We have the carpet grass, it's called Oxonopus compressus. Oxonopus compressus. Then we have the centro. The botanical name of centro is called Centrosema popsine. Centrosema popsine. Then we have stubborn grass. It's called Eleucine indica. Eleucine indica. We have stubborn wheat or the cedar wheat is called Cedar acuta. Cedar acuta. We have the goat wheat, which is called Ageratum conozoi. Ageratum conozoi. Then we have elephant grass. It's called Penicitum pororium. Penicitum poporium. We have tridex. Tridex is called Tridex procumbens. Tridex procumbens. Then we have Mucuna. Mucuna is called Mucuna utilis. The botanical name is called Mucuna utilis. We have northern gamba. Northern gamba is called Andropogon guyanus. Andropogon guyanus. That's the botanical name. We have other wheat. These are just few that I listed them here. We have plenty wheat. Plenty. We have different wheat. Okay? Now, look at the general method of controlling this wheat. Since wheat causes a lot of damage to our crops, let's see how we can control them. Number one is the mechanical or the physical control. The physical control includes the weeding of the farm. You go to the farm, you weed it, or you use hoes, either small hoe or big hoe, you now weed it. That is hoeing. You can also use your hand to pull the wheat. You remove them by what? You uproot the wheat on the farm with your hands. These are physical methods. Okay? Another method is the biological method, which is biological control of wheat. This biological control of wheat involves the use of biological organisms, plants or animals to control the wheat. Okay? Take for instance, you can use parasitic insects to control the wheat. You can also use grazing animals, especially in the tree crops. Okay, in tree crops you can use animals to graze on the farm. Okay, they will graze all the wheat and leave the tree crops on the farm. You can also use cover cropping. Use other cover croppings that they can suppress other wheat. Once the wheat is well established, the plant is well established, it will not suppress the wheat. These are the biological method of controlling wheat. Another one is the cultural method, cultural control method of wheat. This cultural control method of wheat is the using of cultural method such as burning, crop rotation, mulching, weeding, and the rest. These are cultural methods. You use the cultural method. Okay? You can adopt a good farming system to control the wheat. Very good farming system like crop rotation and whatever. use a good cultural farming practices to control the weed. We have chemical method. This one you can also use. You can control weed by using chemicals known as herbicide. Using of herbicide. Basically, there are two types of herbicide that we use in controlling the weed. We have the selective herbicide and non-selective herbicide. These are the two types of herbicide that we use to control weed. Let me explain some more on the two types of herbicide. The selective herbicide. These are types of herbicide that select only the weed and kill the weed on the farm, okay, and leave the crops. Take for instance like maize. If you are a maize farmer, you can use a selective herbicide, any of the selective herbicide like the striker, okay. You can just go and apply the striker and it will not kill all the weed and leave the maize for you. The same thing with the rice. There are selective herbicides for rice and the rest. Okay, these are selective herbicides. They select only the weed and kill and leave the crop plant on the farm. Now the non-selective herbicide on the other side kills anything green on the field. This one you can only apply it on an uncultivated land, okay, where you have not planted anything. Then you can now use non-selective herbicide, and you use it either before plowing. These are methods of controlling with herbicide. Now we have come to the end of the lesson. Now you can reach me on my WhatsApp number 08033673371. You can reach me on this particular number. That's the end of our lesson for the day.